In today's video, we will be taking a look at another 2024 presidential election prediction between any generic Democrat and any generic Republican. Now, this is with the safe states filled in. As you can see, Democrats at 181 electoral votes to Republicans at 113. Let's start off with the Republican likely states because they are trailing in the electoral vote count. First off, in Alaska and South Carolina. The states of Alaska and South Carolina voted for Trump by 10 and 12 points in 2020, respectively. And I believe that both these states won't vote for Republicans by a safe margin, but would vote for Republicans by a likely margin nonetheless. The next states I will give to the Republican Party in the likely column are the states of Iowa and Ohio. Both of these states, in my opinion, will go to Republicans by a likely margin. Trump won both these states by 8 points, 8.2 in Iowa and 8.1 points in the state of Ohio. And I do believe that both of these states will go to the Republican Party, regardless who the candidate really is. At this point, it seems like Trump will be the candidate, which will probably help Republicans in both of these states. Furthermore, I do believe the state of Florida will go to the Republican Party by a likely margin. Republicans have done very well recently in the state of Florida, and specifically in the Miami-Dade and Broward County region. We saw in 2020, despite the national environment trending to the Democrats by more than 2 points, Republicans did remarkably well in the Hispanic predominant counties, and especially the county of Miami-Dade. So I do believe Republicans will win the state of Florida by a likely margin. Similarly, in the state of Texas, Trump did not have the best performance there, won the state by just less than 6 points, but nonetheless, I do believe that Democrats won't be able to do as well in the suburban areas, and therefore I do believe Democrats will end up losing the state of Texas by more than 5 points. Now, going to the Democratic likely states, I do believe Colorado, New Mexico, and Virginia will go to the Democratic Party by a likely margin. I don't think this is too surprising given the fact that Democrats have, generally speaking, been able to win these states by double digits. In the state of Virginia, voted for Biden by 10, New Mexico by 11, and Colorado by 13.5 points. I do believe Democrats are favored in all three states by similar margins as they were in 2020. Furthermore, I do believe Maine's at-large vote will go to Democrats by a likely margin because Biden did win the state overall by 9% margin in 2020. However, Republicans are likely going to win Maine's 2nd district by a likely margin because Trump also won a district by 7 in 2020. The final likely state I would give for either party is the state of Minnesota. In 2020, Democrats won the state by 7 points over Donald Trump, and I do believe that Democrats will generally be able to do quite well in the Minneapolis region, and therefore win the state of Minnesota. Now going to the more competitive states on your screen right now. The first state I'm going to start off with is the state of New Hampshire. In the state of New Hampshire, Democrats won the state by 7.3 in 2020, and they won all but 2 counties, so it's going to be very difficult for Republicans to actually win the state of New Hampshire. I do believe they're going to come a little bit closer, but I think Democrats are still going to win by close to 5 percentage points, but by a lean margin. Nebraska 2nd, I also want to get cleared out of the way. Biden won the district by 7, and although redistricting has made the district slightly more conservative, Democrats are definitely favored in that district. Now, going to the state of Nevada. I do believe that in the state of Nevada, the race will be very interesting. Though Biden did win the state by 2.4 points, which is a pretty substantial margin given how close some of the other states were. If you look at the trends in the Clark County region and some of the Republican regions, it does seem like that Republicans are actually gaining in the state of Nevada in terms of trends. But many prediction models have so far put the state of Nevada in the lean Democratic column. So with everything being considered, I do believe Democrats will end up winning the state of Nevada. Now going to the state of Arizona. Now both parties have definitely a great shot in the state, but the state has generally been trending blue for quite a substantial amount of time. And without considering the candidates, we have to look at the trends. Democrats overperformed by 5 points compared to 2016 in Maricopa County, and a 5.1 point margin in Pima County. These 2 counties make up about 80% of the state's population, and it's going to be easy to see how Democrats would end up winning the state of Arizona as well. Now going to the state of Wisconsin, let's go to the Rust Belt. In the state of Wisconsin, right now speaking, it's also it's also an interesting affair. We see that Democrats won by the state by just over 0.63% in 2020. And it's going to be difficult for Democrats to actually hold the state because of the fact that some of the trends, although we did see go to the Democratic Party in some of the wild counties and some of the urban areas, many of these counties that are working class did end up trending to the Republican Party. And I do believe, when all things considered, especially considering the trends, I do believe Republicans will win the state of Wisconsin. Now, going to the state of Georgia, the state of the state of Georgia, this state did vote for Biden by about 0.3% in 2020, an extremely narrow margin, just 12,000 votes, and the state is really much up for grabs in 2024. Nonetheless, if you again look at the trends, Democrats overperformed by more than 5 points compared to 2016 in the state of Georgia. And although that was partially due to national trend, we did see significant Democratic overperformances in the Atlanta suburbs, and we're likely going to see that again in 2024. So with that in mind, I do believe the state of Georgia will go to the Democratic Party by a tilt margin. Now with the state of North Carolina, I do believe that the state of North Carolina will likely go to the Republican Party because Trump won the state by 1.3 points, and don't think he's going to lose a lot of voters from there. I think that Democrats could see overperformances furthermore in the Charlotte areas, but I think Republicans will be able to do quite well in some of the rural areas and revert some of the trends over here in the panhandle part of the state of North Carolina and end up winning the state by around a lean margin. Now going to the two final states. First off, in the state of Michigan, Democrats are pretty much favored in the state of Michigan because they did win the state by close to 3 points in 2020. Furthermore speaking, the trends in the state of Michigan actually have not favored Republicans by a substantial margin. In 2020, Democrats did do quite well, overperformed by 6 points in Oakland, by 9 points in Kent, and by pretty substantial margins in many of the suburban areas, showing Democrats do have the strength to win the state of Michigan. I do believe that overall speaking, Democrats are going to probably win the state by a lean margin in 2024. Finally, in the state of Pennsylvania, I do believe that the state is going to be very close. If you look at the trends, the Democrats definitely did very well in the 2020 general election. Republicans have been able to improve somewhat in the Philadelphia area, but Democrats have definitely countered that and a lot more with some of the trends in the Philadelphia suburbs. And with everything considered, I do believe Democrats are currently favored. Republicans are not in the best shape right now, which means that Democrats will be at 293 electoral votes to Republicans at 245. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.